Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the Zero Excuses podcast. My name's Kenyon Zitska, your host and founder. If this is your first time tuning in, thanks for checking us out. Or if you're a long-time listener, appreciate your support. Today we're going to be doing something a little different for our Deacons Discipline series here. I'm recording this over the Veterans Day weekend, and I thought I would dedicate this episode to some of the most disciplined people that I've ever worked with. Hand in hand, and that's our veterans. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without their inspiration, their support, and it's been an honor to serve with each and every one that I've served with for over 20 years now. So I want to dedicate this episode to them. There is one person in particular, one veteran, that I want to give a quick shout out to, and that's Rob Hunter. I know, buddy, you've been going through some tough times medically here recently, and just want to let you know that I've been thinking about you, and you really inspired me to create this episode and put out the content that you're about to listen to here. And it really got me thinking about my formative years, my first few years in the military. What impact that's had on my life, what impact you've had on my life, helped me become a search and rescue swimmer, to doing those dangerous ass hikes in Hawaii there. And I just want to give you a quick shout out, bud. Let you know I've been thinking about you, and I know you'll get through this and be kicking ass again here soon. So, anyways, the topic today I wanted to cover is how to always have the courage to prevail. And like I just mentioned, was reminiscing about my formative years in the military, and my first ship, the USS PAUL Hamilton. The ship's motto was the courage to prevail. And back when I was 18 years old, I really didn't appreciate these mottos, the core values, the mission statements. I always thought those were cheesy, corny gimmicks to get us to act a certain way and get us to conform to the ideal sailor, I guess, for lack of a better term there. But now I really appreciate these mottos, having core values, knowing what at least I stand for as an individual, and really see the power in these mottos. And looking back at my career, I really can see how that motto, the courage to prevail, really helped propel me and achieve certain things that I, quite frankly, never thought I could ever achieve. So let's just jump right into it here. Why is it important for you to have the courage to prevail? This is really the biggest barrier between being disciplined and not disciplined, or at least at the level that you need to be highly successful in this world. So by having courage, it'll fast track you to have that discipline to do what you know you need to do to get the success that you want in life. So if you have courage, it's going to increase your confidence. It's going to help you quiet that voice inside your head that's telling you to quit or not even try. And you're just going to get to your goals faster, like I just said. So what are some practical ways that we can start to have this courage to always prevail and always finish what we started and prove our doubters wrong ultimately? So the first thing is we got to recognize that most of our fears are either overhyped by external influences like the media, our parents, our friends, our family, or by our own brains. We can be our own worst enemies. So we just really need to understand that we have some instincts that are still present from our ancestors that are always looking for threats to our well-being. And in this day and age, saber-toothed tigers aren't chasing our asses down trying to kill us. So really, to put a bow on this point that I'm making here is that we got to just realize that our brains are constantly working to pick out those threats. That's what our brains are tuned to do. So when we hear about the economy being bad in the news, or if our brains are starting to, or that voice in our head is starting to question whether we should get up on stage to give that presentation or whatever it may be, we have to recognize that our brains are going to take that information and try and run with it if we don't control it. So that leads me to my next point. We have to break everything down into its simplest form. So, for example, I'm going to keep using this podcast, this very podcast, as an example because this is something that I'm doing to step out of my comfort zone, and I think it's the most it's the freshest thing in my mind right now. But anyways, if I were to look at creating a podcast as one giant step, it seems like such a daunting and unreasonably large task for one to undertake. So if I were to ask you, hey, go start a podcast, most people are going to say, oh, that's crazy, that's impossible, or I'm not a good public speaker, whatever excuse you want to start coming up with. But if you start breaking that down into certain steps, like step 1, buy a microphone. Step 2, start drafting some content, and break things down into simple steps. It'll help build that courage and give you that confidence to get some momentum so that you can ultimately prevail. So the third point here is you have to constantly seek out and engage in things that will push you outside of your comfort zone. So expand your comfort zone so that you will start getting comfortable with taking those risks or doing those activities that one might not expect you to traditionally do. So if you were to ask someone probably 20 years ago if Kenyon Zitska were to have a podcast, most people would probably tell you that you're crazy and Kenyon would never do something like that. But if you constantly are seeking out and engaging things outside your comfort zone, that's gonna be your ultimate confidence booster that you can do anything that you set your mind to, and that when that voice inside your head pops up, you can tell it to go fuck off, because you decided you're gonna do this and you're gonna see it through. So the last point I want to make is be around people who challenge you, who are going to call you on your bullshit when your discipline starts to falter a little bit, and when you're threatening to throw in the towel on something, and just seek out those people that see that potential in you and that are headed in the same direction that you're going. This has been one of the biggest game changers for me is getting into some mastermind groups online with people who are doing similar things as me, people who have successful podcasts themselves and have become big time influencers in the world today. So, whether you're looking to invent widgets or start a podcast, you have to reach out and seek out the knowledge of people who are doing those types of things. And you'll be surprised at how many people are actually willing to reach back and help the people who are trying to get started in the same arenas that they're currently heavy hitters in right now. So that's what I have for you guys today. Encourage you to implement each one of these 4 steps that I just went over. And just to summarize, number 1, just recognize that most fears are overhyped and sensationalized by either ourselves or the media. Number 2, break things down into simple steps. Number 3, constantly seek out and engage in activities that are outside your comfort zone. And number 4, get yourself around people who are going to challenge you and call you out on your bullshit. So that's what I have for you guys today. Some quick reminders as we wrap things up, wind things down today. Number 1, don't forget to check out our free closed Facebook group over at facebook.com/groups/0excuses. Number 2, I just launched a mastermind group of my own, the Infinite Results Mastermind Group. You can head on over to kenyonzitska.com/results to get the ball rolling there. And lastly, if you really want to instill some rock-solid discipline and work with me, one-on-one to do that. I do offer a very exclusive one-on-one coaching program. You can check that out over at kennyandzitska.com/discipline. And there's a short survey, and you can schedule a 60-minute block of time with me where we can go over some of the ways that you can build that discipline so you can live life on your terms, regain control of your time, build some wealth, and all while having deep and lasting connections with your friends and family. It's really a program designed to craft a vision for yourself so that you can set some goals and objectives in each and every area of your life. So that'll wrap it up for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk at you again soon.